Why do Catholics in Latin America leave the church? Well, there's a lot of surveys that get done that ask questions of people who leave the faith, why they leave their faith, and these get asked in America and Europe and Latin America. And one of these groups that does surveys, Pew, has some interesting data about Catholics, former Catholics in Latin America. Most of the places in Europe and in America, when you ask people why they're leaving the church, they say things like, I don't believe in it, or they disagree with church teachings. Very frequently, they disagree with church teachings on things like LGBTQ issues. In Latin America, people are leaving the church for Protestantism. In the US, people leave the Catholic Church to become nothing, to become a nun, Nones. People are twice as likely to leave Catholicism in the US to become nothing as they are to become Protestant. But in Latin America, you see a lot of movement towards Protestantism. Countries like Guatemala have went from being pretty much exclusively Catholic to being about evenly divided between Catholics and Protestants. So when Pew goes and surveys people and asks Latin American former Catholics why they left the faith, the answers you get are what you might expect. They liked the worship style better at the evangelical service. They wanted a more personal relationship with Jesus. But one of the things you see is they wanted a greater emphasis on morality. 60% of those who left the Catholic Church in Latin America to become a Protestant said they did so because they wanted a greater emphasis on morality. In America, we might be losing Catholics because they disagree with church morality. In Latin America, we may be losing Catholics because they want traditional Bible based morality. And maybe the church there is not preaching the gospel adequately. This is why survey data like this is really interesting, and Catholics should take a look at this because it could guide our catechesis efforts and help us to be more effective in raising our children and in evangelizing to our neighbors.